Well, hello my friends, I am Brian and welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be doing an old school ice challenge with these two coolers. So what I think is going to be fun, it's the summertime, everybody wants their beers to be cold around the pool, and we don't always get to use a 12-volt cooler, which is what I use quite a bit. So we're going to be putting these two coolers together. So over here on your right, I've got the Yeti Roadie 24. This is a 24-quart cooler. It can hold up to 18 cans with a 2-to-1 ice ratio. And this is the East Oak 25-quart cooler, and it'll hold 20 cans with a 2-to-1 ice ratio mix. Now, both of these coolers use the roto-molded construction with foam injected in between the walls to better insulate it, yada, yada, yada. We've heard about roto-molded coolers for years and years now, but the Yeti is the tried and true champ of the cooler world, in my opinion, and this East Oak cooler is a pretty new name to the game. But I want to see if this cooler can compete against the Yeti, because this is $89.99 right now. I don't know how long that's going to last, but for a sub $100 roto molded cooler, let's pit it up against the champion, which this is $249.99. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if this can maintain the ice as well, or maybe even better, I don't know, than the Yeti Roadie 24. Now, the form factors of both of these coolers are very, very different. The Yeti's got the taller, more skinnier bottom. It's a square. It's got the rubber feet on the bottom, so it's better suited for like marine environments or on a boat, but you can put like a wine bottle in the Roadie. This one is obviously circular, and it's a little bit squattier, so you can use this as the seat if you want to, which is actually pretty convenient if you're around a campfire. It can support up to 400 pounds. It's got some rope handles on both sides, and the lid, which I like about this, is that it opens up both ways. So you can, whatever way you're sitting, you can open it up, or you can even take the whole lid off and just have, like, you know, easy access to the cooler. So that's kind of a cool little feature of this cooler if you like that. Obviously the Yeti Roadie opens up one way and closes one way. That's it. And also, what I do like about the East Oak is it's got a drain plug on it, which makes it really easy, if I can find it. It's got a drain plug down here. So that makes it real easy to discharge some of the liquid, some of the melted ice, to keep the ice in there longer. The Yeti doesn't have any type of drain. You have to open up the lid and kind of pour out the water. But again, $89 versus a $250 cooler. I don't know if it's really going to be a fair test or not, but it's 100 degrees here in Texas, and we're going to do a 5-day ice challenge. So I think it's going to be an interesting result. So stick around and watch the test coming up right now.
All right, folks, so let's start the test here, and I'm going to lay out the ground rules that I'm going to be using. So I am outside currently underneath my little patio in the shade, which is where you should keep your cooler anyway. I'm not going to keep it baking out in the sun because that's really not fair for any cooler. So we're underneath my patio shade. I've got the East Oak 25 and the Yeti Roadie, and I'm going to put 2 bags of ice in each. I'm going to come back every single day, and I'm going to dump out the melted water, measure it, and then at the end of day 5, we're going to see how much actual ice cubes are left in each one of these coolers to see which one is a better buy, because honestly I do not know. Yeti's 250 bucks. This is around 140. So let's see if price really does make a difference in this little test. And currently, right now, it is 11:40 a.m. on Monday, 77 degrees outside. And just to make sure everyone is staying honest, if that's in focus, hopefully, it's 11:40 a.m. So I'm gonna go grab 2 bags of ice, dump them into these room temperature coolers. They are not pre-chilled, and we're going to start this test. And let's start with the East Oak. And 2. Shut that lid. Close that up. And now we wait. But let me show you that there's no cheating involved. There's no extra ice packs in either one of these coolers. And I'll check back in tomorrow at around the same time. So, just icing. It is day 2, 11:34 a.m. and it is currently 84 degrees outside. So we're going to test out the first amount of ice melt out of both of these coolers. And the cool thing about this e-stove that I like is that it actually has a drain plug on it, which is going to be a lot easier to get the measurements. So I'm just going to unscrew this. And we're pretty much empty. Alright, so there's the e-stove. And we are, not that this really matters, but we're at about 1.5 liters of water. Now for the Yeti, it's going to be a little more difficult to get the ice out, or the water out, because there's not a drain plug on this thing. Whew, that gets heavy. Okay. Close that up. And we are at 1.5 liters. So basically the exact same amount of ice melted in both of these coolers in 24 hours. So we'll check back in tomorrow. Okay guys, it is day 3 of this little ice challenge for these 2 coolers. Now, I'm going to kind of switch up the testing, and I'm not just going to measure how much water comes out, because we're getting to the point where I don't think this little jug is going to hold all of the melted ice water. So we're just going to end up at the end of this test, see how much ice is left between these 2 coolers. Now, I checked Amazon last night because I was looking at the different color of this cooler, and the price dropped to $89.99. The Yeti is still 250 bucks. So in my opinion, if this East Oak cooler is anywhere the same amount of ice melting ratio to the Yeti, it's pretty good buy. Now I know Yetis are really popular, but anyway, let's see how much is melted. And I can still hear some ice. Again, day 3. And we're just at a drip, so second container full. Now let's check out the Yeti. All right, gotta chunk up this ice. All right, well, I will check back in tomorrow around 11 or noon if work permits. But so far, again, I think we're pretty much still neck and neck on these 2 coolers. And I got to say it again, for right now, you can buy 3 of these for 1 Yeti. So might be a pretty decent little option. So we will see you folks tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are on day 4. I got all my dogs outside right now, but it is 82 degrees outside, 20 minutes till 11 a.m., so roughly about the same time. It got up to around 96 degrees here yesterday, so I'm honestly going to be a little surprised if there's any ice in either one of these coolers. But let's check it out. There's a little bit. And it did rain here a little bit this morning, so the top of the coolers have a little bit of wetness on them. And I think that's about it for the inside. Now let's get to the Yeti, dump out that water. Okay, let's check out the ice. So if I were to guess without getting an actual measurement cup, it looks like the Yeti actually has a little bit more ice in it. It's a little bit difficult because this has a wider footprint. This is kind of more compact and narrow, but just feeling it, it appears it might have a little bit more, but again, is it $150 plus more for a little bit more ice? I don't know. But we're gonna try to check back in the morning, and I have a feeling, a really good feeling, that we're not gonna have any ice in either one of these coolers on day 5. But it's both of these have done pretty well here in this Texas heat. And you know, if you actually put in some cold beers or some cold drinks in these coolers with this ice, it would actually help prolong the ice and kind of slow down the melting. This is kind of worst case scenario. So both of these coolers are doing pretty well. And again, right now, $89.99, $249.99. So pretty cool little comparison, but we will try to check back in tomorrow. I'm not promising there's going to be any ice in either one of these coolers, but we'll see what we get tomorrow. Stay tuned. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is day 5 of this cooler challenge, and it is around 9 a.m. this morning. My phone's inside, but it's still pretty early. I'm not expecting any ice in either one of these coolers. It got to almost 100 degrees outside yesterday, but let's see what we have in store. Yeah. Yep, that's kind of what I expected. So neither cooler has any ice left, but from judging at the remaining water melt, guys, I gotta say that these coolers were pretty neck and neck, which is quite surprising given the price difference of these two coolers and, you know, the known quality, I guess, of the Yeti. Overall, both coolers did actually pretty well for a 5-day ice challenge here in Texas when the temperature is over 90 degrees during the day. Some key takeaways that I got from both of these coolers, they're both very different form factors. The East Oak is a much wider, much more cylindrical, circular type form factor, which is nice because you can actually sit on it, you can put it around the campfire, and it's got a 400-pound capacity on it. So even I could stand on this and use it as a step stool or a seat or whatever. But I do like that about this. Now the Yeti, of course, is tried and true. Everyone's heard of Yeti. This to me is more suited for like marine type uses because it's got the non-slip feet underneath it. It doesn't have any tie down points on it, but you can still sit on it. But this to me is more used for like slippery surfaces because of those non-slip feet. The East Oak does not have any non-slip feet. But if you're wanting to save a little bit of money for about the same amount of ice retention, I'm fairly shocked that East Oak cooler pretty much stayed on par with the Yeti. So guys, I don't know if that helped you at all, but if you were in the market for either one of these coolers, they both did well. The Yeti is $250. The East Oak cooler right now on Amazon is $89.99. And it does also come in like a dark navy blue color as well. And of course you can get the Yeti in a ton of different colors. But overall, yeah, pretty cool little experiment, I must say. I was surprised by the results. But anyway, folks, if you enjoyed it, thanks so much. And we will see you soon on the next video. Take care.